Hi folks, Dave Duquette from Western Justice. I want to talk about the announcement of the dissolution of Protect the Harvest. I was going to read our statement about it, and we have a full statement we'll put in the comments. What I decided I wanted to do, because I have so much respect and reverence for Forrest Lucas and what he did with Protect the Harvest and what that meant to our lifestyle and what it meant to agriculture for him to do what he did by starting that and allowing that organization to do the things that it did. Forrest Lucas started it in 2010. I got wind of it in 2011, and by 2012 I was working for him. I remember the first time I heard about this, I sat back in my chair and I just had a wave of relief come over me, because there were so many big people in the industries that wouldn't come out and fight. They would stand behind me and they would say, "Hey Dave, you're doing a great job," and they'd kind of hide behind me, and then but they wouldn't poke their heads out. Nobody would ever put their name on any of these fights. And if they had, and if they would, it would change in an instant. It would change our ability to control the situation and fight back against all these groups. And Forrest Lucas was that person. Forrest Lucas was the one that injected a spine into a lot of people by coming out as an entrepreneur, an extremely successful entrepreneur. The only man who has his private entity that has his name on a NFL stadium. Grew up very poor and made it through hard work and dedication. And if you really knew his story, I mean, everybody would love him. Everybody that does know his story loves him. Everybody that knows Forrest loves him. I have such a tremendous amount of respect for our friendship and his allowing me to become who I was and elevate me to a point where it was way higher than I could have done organically on my own. Even though I'd been fighting all these issues for the horse industry for probably 6 or 7 years at that point. To have him come on the scene and do all the things that he did. And for all the horse industry folks out there, the reality was, you start looking around from 2013 on, through the 8 years I was there with Forrest, and you look at how much sponsorship Lucas Oil did in the horse industry, the rodeo world. The American wouldn't have got started without Forrest Lucas helping and being a big sponsor there to start with. He's been a huge sponsor of the PBR forever. He sponsored the 𝐀𝐫𝐞 World Show for several years. It was the Lucas Oil World Show. Most horse shows, the NCHA Stallion Stakes, the Reno Snaffle Bit Futurity, the Wild Spade Filly Futurity, all the things that we did in the horse industry and the Western lifestyle were just amazing. And that was the kind heart of Forrest Lucas doing that and wanting to promote Protect the Harvest. We did a lot of great stuff there. We fought back against Proposition 2. We had 13 states attorneys generals file a lawsuit against California, and another 13 states attorneys generals file a lawsuit against Massachusetts over Question 3. We got the Hammonds pardon. We were the ones that were instrumental in sitting in the White House and getting that done. There was so much litigation that we never talked about, so many different scenarios that we got in the middle of to help change what was going on or what was going to happen if nobody was there to do it. And in 2020, the board decided that they were going to turn it into an educational group instead of the fighting group. So that's not who I am. So I left Protect the Harvest in 2020, early 2020, and started Western Justice at the behest of some very key people in the horse world. Came to me and said, "You need to be doing something. You can't be out of this fight." The overwhelming desire and understanding of how things work made me realize that I cannot just be a lobbyist. One person doesn't have the snort in DC that a major organization does. And if you look at the Western world and the Western lifestyle, and you put ranching, you put the Western horse world, you put the rodeo world, and all of the rural American type folks that are involved in that world together, there's no more financially well-heeled demographic in the United States. We could be, without a doubt, the biggest lobby and the strongest voice in the United States. And we're not, because we're not together. That's where this comes in, the Western Sports Industry Coalition. That's something we started to fight back against LA back in 2021, first part of 21. There's never been anything like it. It's the groundbreaking, most consequential group that's been brought together ever in the Western world. The team that did all the hard work and the fighting at Protect the Harvest all works for Western Justice now. And we need to make sure we have your support. And we want you to know that all of Forrest's money spent with Protect the Harvest didn't go to waste. All the donors that donated to Protect the Harvest didn't go to waste, because it actually built a team because of Forrest's desire and his name and his ability to get into places that we've never been. Many politicians know us. They still have a lot of reverence for Forrest and what we did there, just like me. And we are able to still effectively change and deal with things that we need to. So with that, feel good about the fact that Western Justice is here and we're still doing the same work. We've narrowed our focus so that it's just ranching, the Western horse world, the rodeo world, and basically rural America, not the global aspect we were doing with Protect the Harvest. The dissolution of Protect the Harvest doesn't mean the end of an era. Western Justice has picked up that torch, and we are going to continue fighting, and we're going to keep going. And we need your support. Become a member of the C4 or donate to the C3.